are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar on selecting the best apps and software to run your business. Just a quick housekeeping reminder here. If you have a question, please, we ask the attendees to type it in, and our panelists will answer it probably sometime tomorrow or the next day. New software and apps are introduced weekly. They're designed to make life easier for the small business owner. Most are very powerful, but many of us find that they don't always do everything our business needs or don't do it well. So instead of working faster and more efficiently, some business owners spend more time re-entering data or sitting in a help desk chat room. Today, our panelists will identify some of the more efficient and effective apps and software that can help small businesses with fine-tuning strategy, to automating aspects of inventory management, to paying the vendor on time, and more. Most of these apps are either free or reasonably priced. First, I'd like to welcome our panelists today. Kimberly Shannon, President of Offsite Business Services. Shamish Schuler, President of Shoe Books. Also, Nancy Smith, President of Sunburst Software Solutions, is unable to be with us today. Ladies, we have a lot to cover today, so let's get started. Kim, can you tell us why business owners should be using Bill.com?
Sure. Thanks, Gary, and welcome all attendees. Uh-oh. Gary, I think I'm having a technical difficulty.
Okay.
I'm going to switch this back to you because I'm having.
Okay. There we go.
I've lost the whole. Oh, there we go. Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. I've been using Bill.com for a couple of years myself, and I find it to be a very effective tool. And it's interesting that many of the business owners that I talk to consider that, paying a bill is just, their cost is only the cost of printing the check. But, as you can see by the $38, there's a lot more involved in paying a bill. It's a pretty accurate cost because, there's getting the mail, checking the mail, sorting the mail, filing, entering the information, not to mention the excessive amounts of paper, people, and system in place. And on average, it does take about 45 days to collect on receivables. And Bill.com is a very effective tool to make that time a lot shorter and get the systems in place. And just because of all these things, 57% of small business owners do find it extremely frustrating to forecast their cash flow. So Gary, there we go. So what if you could save 50 to 75% of the cost and time in paying your bills, eliminate the conditions for fraud, and approve payments from on the road, whether you're traveling on a plane or a beach or wherever you are? With Bill.com, you can put real growth, real control, and real advantage back in your hands. The one thing I like about Bill.com is that you can reduce paperwork and streamline your accounts payable and accounts receivable processes. This happens by providing an online document management system at the core and then facilitating the collaboration and workflow between your internal staff, clients, as well as vendors and customers. Bill.com moves the money and reconciles all of the activity with your accounting software and your bank. Accounts receivable and accounts payable are easy to manage from your computer or any mobile device. So I'll kind of cover how you can make real growth with Bill.com. And as you can see from this slide, there are so many more steps involved with processing a bill than just printing a check. In business, just all of these things, that goes into every aspect of any kind of bill that gets paid. So you can see how the time and cost really adds up. But business owners can use any or all of the Bill.com features for online document management to eliminate steps and automate the processes. Electronic bills can actually be sent directly to Bill.com, eliminating the need to go to the mailbox, open the mail, process and post the bills. And there's no more printing, stuffing, or mailing of the checks. So you could realistically go from a 13-step process that often repeats itself down to a 4-step process. But by reducing the number of processes, you can actually pay your bills smarter, faster, and for less money. Here is an example of bills that have been approved for payment. So anyone who has the established permissions can log in from their computer or their mobile device. And the next few slides I'll go through rather quickly. They'll just show you how easy it is to manage your accounts payable and accounts receivable from your computer or mobile device. This is basically how you can approve a bill, and if you can see at the bottom of the screen, if you choose to use that option where the bill is uploaded, the approver can actually see the bill and review it before they approve the payment. And once the bill has been paid, you have the ability to see that the bill's been paid, and like I said, this can be done from virtually anywhere. And as far as your receivables, you can see that whether an invoice has been paid, whether it still needs to be paid, whether the invoice needs to be emailed, and all of that can be done from anywhere. Now the receivables side actually has a similar streamlining process. With receivables, you actually have even more steps involved due just to the process of collections. So a business could conceivably go down from 17 steps to a 5-step process, and it can set itself up to automatically send out the late fees and everything else, so that you don't have to worry about following up on that manually. The one thing I really like about Bill.com is that clients can actually pay you directly from their invoice. There's a link on there, and it just makes it so convenient and quick for them to pay, and I get paid just a lot faster. So what does it mean to have real control? If you think about your current processes, you're at risk just due to the fact of all the manual processes that are involved. Check stock in a drawer, account information that gets sent in the mail, or papers left out that possibly somebody shouldn't be seeing or be able to manipulate. And of course, I can't do a webinar without reminding business owners about the high cost of fraud due to lack of internal controls. This is something I really try to educate business owners on, and I think it's really important. And 5% of annual revenues are lost due to fraud. And 49% of the businesses that experience this never recover it. So what does Bill.com do? It really does help small businesses to establish better internal controls at a very cost-effective level. So by eliminating the fraud and the errors, you have a complete audit trail. Nothing can be changed. It's all in there. The administrator or the owner can review it. You can pay everybody electronically, so there's no need to buy stamps, run the bills to the post office, stuff them in an envelope. Account information is completely hidden from users that have the ability to see it, and it uses a 256-bit encryption just like your bank, so it's very secure. and it syncs all the vendors and bill information with your accounting software, so you don't have to worry about double entry. You know, no paper. I mean, if you choose to go that route, you don't have to touch any paper at any time. So reducing fraud means separation of duties. So what Bill.com allows you to do is set up permissions for different users. So you may just have a user that you just want to be able to enter the bill, and then have somebody who just is going to review it and approve it, and then have a separate payer. You know, usually I set up either myself or my client as the administrator, and then you can just have all these various permissions, and there's standard ones. There are also custom permissions that you can give people if you want to give people different levels of permissions within the program. And like I said, there's a complete audit trail of every transaction, so you can see who's been in there, what's been done, if anything's been changed, you know, if it's been paid, and that can't be changed. So it's really great for internal control purposes. The real advantage of Bill.com is automating and streamlining the bill management process. You can increase your efficiencies and lower overall cost structure in your firm's operations, and this can give you a clear competitive advantage in the marketplace. So you can move your business from a manual, laborious process to a new process with more functionality and control. Bill.com allows you to grow by enabling your financial controls to be as easy as managing checking your weather on your smartphone. It's what you expect and experience in your everyday lives today. So that's really all I have about Bill.com, and I will turn it over to Shamise next to talk about Shoeboxed.
Hello everyone, welcome to the webinar. One of Shoebox's options is to go paperless with accurate verified data. And I sum this service up as an all-in-one organizational tool for expenses. You're able to drop receipts in a pre-stamped envelope referred to by Shoebox as the magic envelope. iOS and Android users can install the free app, scan receipts, and within 24 hours use easy search tools to view them later. When you scan your receipts, it takes up to 24 hours in processing mode because they are scanning, entering the data for you, and categorizing. A very neat feature is the hookup to Gmail that takes 30 seconds to connect. E-receipts sent to your email are automatically synced up to Shoebox for processing. The vendor, total amount, date, and payment type are extracted and available in your searchable online account. All of your expenses can also be tagged with certain information such as office supplies, meals and entertainment, or travel, making searches more powerful and expense reports a breeze to create. To go a little bit deeper, you can even scan in business cards, which makes it a winner when it comes to syncing up with Evernote. Now all of your networking connections are searchable. Integration for QuickBooks involves a simple one-time setup of rules so that Shoebox knows where to enter the expenses. Receipts are put into your magic envelope, shipped out to Shoebox, they scan them, and they're automatically synced up into QuickBooks. If you have one of the Fujitsu snap scanners, Shoebox offers another amazing feature. Windows and Mac users can enjoy a free Shoebox uploader program that allows you to save a scanned document directly into your Shoebox account. This is skipping some tedious steps and speeds up processing. With this scanner to Shoebox connection, you don't have to save the file to your computer, then log into your account, and then import the document. It is automatic, secure, and backed up. In addition to the integrations, an important question is, what about my accountant? Can they see my expenses in Shoebox, or do I still have to make a big deal about getting this info over to them each month? The answer is yes. Your accountant can be involved too. Just send them an invite. If the invite is not the way you want to go or your plan doesn't allow, you can easily share your documents by creating a unique read-only link for each record if needed and send via email. As you can see here on the pricing chart, you have many different options for using Shoebox depending on the size of your business and your needs, including free forever, monthly, or discounted yearly plans. Prepaid magic envelopes, QuickBooks integration, and accountant invites require at least the classic plan. For higher priority processing, you're going to want the business or executive account. Shoebox is such a great option because backup is extremely important when it comes to taxes and reporting. We don't wish it to happen, but audits occur, so the value is huge when you can always have this information available to you, especially in digital format. There's so many times that people are left with the yellow slips behind the white receipt, and if you don't do something with these right away, just from rubbing against other pieces of paper, it starts to become harder to read. So these are tax-accepted, legible documents 1 year from now or 7 years from now. Take a look at Shoebox YouTube channel. They have a lot of really great videos that we don't have time to share with you here. Continuing on with easy breeziness, let's review an option used by 5 million people to make billing painless. For my clients, FreshBooks works very well. From a bookkeeper's angle, it's a great way for their clients to maintain control of the invoicing process and their expenses without the client getting overwhelmed with the capacity and navigation of Xero or QuickBooks. The navigation and functionality of FreshBooks is very straightforward. Of course, there is an app for iOS and Android users allowing one to create and send invoices or estimates on the spot. Track time spent with that client right on your device, classify expenses, and even create new projects. You can also set up multiple sales tax rates and use multiple currencies. Sync your bank accounts and credit cards to bring in expenses automatically each night. This could be great for bookkeepers if their clients use descriptions. Skip the email about what they bought at Best Buy last week and just look in FreshBooks. Expenses can be assigned to clients and projects to be rebilled later. Something to consider though is that FreshBooks can't handle markup directly in the expense. If you add the expense to the invoice, the amount can be changed to include markup. Some of my clients just add markup on a separate line, so it just depends on the businesses and relationships with their clients. And this is kind of along the lines of like interior designers or people who purchase something tax-free and then need to add more money on and then bill their client. In addition to regular time tracking, you can add staff users or contractor users. Both have their own set of allowances within FreshBooks, but the most important part being that you can use their time to drop right into invoices. When creating the invoice, the expense and time entries can also be filtered to include only certain dates or to include all unbilled items. Time entries can be marked as billed for those times when it is better to combine multiple dates into one, or you don't even have to mark them billed because there is an option that allows you to combine all the same time items together. Of course, you can change the descriptions as needed so it's cohesive. So there's a lot of different ways that you can bill for your time and expenses. FreshBooks wants your accountant to have it easy too. Invite them to collaborate. Then they can view reports or export transactions into QuickBooks. And invoices are automatically imported into Xero with direct integration. Sync up with Google Apps so you can track time spent writing emails back and forth to clients and then bill for it later. If you take credit cards or PayPal, link your merchant accounts and your invoices will be automatically marked as paid when a client logs in to remit. FreshBooks and Shoebox do integrate together, but you may not need this as FreshBooks can hold receipt images too. Another pretty cool feature that I personally liked and a lot of my clients can appreciate is sometimes their clients try to say that they never received the invoice, but when the link in the email is clicked, FreshBooks shows you that the invoice has been viewed. So I know this can be very helpful when staying on top of receivables. Here are pricing options. There is a forever free account with limited capabilities, and you can only manage one client, but this is a great way to just give it a shot for 30 days, play around, and see how it works for you. The fun comes in with extra features when you go with the seedling plan at $19.95 a month. But the goal is to think big, and having the ability to manage unlimited clients with the Evergreen plan for $29.95 might be the way you want to go, just to put the good energy out there. You can also get into expense reporting here and team timesheets. If you will have staff involved who might need access to the account or do some billing on your behalf, your best bet might be the Mighty Oak at top dollar, $39.95. So in the 3 years of using FreshBooks for myself and with clients, not once have I had to call them for any issues, only to speak with an account manager about new features. The team picks up right away. They're super friendly, knowledgeable, and very responsive, so it's a wonderful option. So before I turn it over to Kim to talk about an app that literally saves time while you're tracking it, I just want to say that I had a client who was using Excel to enter their time. It would require that this time be copied and pasted into QuickBooks to then run time reports for each job, and it would take at least 2 hours every month to do this. I only have one client that I've used T-sheets with, but it's literally, it could be like a beach after winter. So Kim, tell us more about how wonderful this option is.
Thanks, Shamice. Actually, this was supposed to be Nancy's part of the webinar, but she got called away on a family emergency right before the webinar started. So I was frantically taking notes and trying to get something together so that I could cover for her. So Shamice, especially in this part, if there's anything you'd like to add, please feel free to jump in and help me out.
Sure will.
Okay. T-Sheets is a time tracking app, and I know that Nancy uses it extensively and just loves it. You know, and it's mobile, so they have it for the iPhone, the iPad, and the Android. It has GPS location tracking, overtime and overtime alerts if, you know, someone goes into overtime. It can also handle paid time off, vacation, and timesheet approvals. It's also Defense Contract Audit Agency compliant, or DCAA, and Department of Labor compliant, DOL. There is a crew app for the iPhone, iPad, and Android, so if there's a crew out, they can handle it that way. Also, the traditional web-based time tracking can be done from your laptop as well, and that's a very powerful tool above and beyond the Android and the iPhone. Employees can also, you know, enter their time via text. They can tweet them to T-Sheets, or they can call in from a landline.
Oh. I'm already learning a couple new things.
Oh, good. I took better notes than I thought. Yeah, T-Sheets integrates with QuickBooks, both desktop and online versions, and with Zen Payroll. There are other programs that it does integrate with, but there are setup fees involved. Some of them, I'll just pull them out, are Sage, ADP, Paychex, Ceridian, Velocity, Timberline, and Sage Pro. But there are others that it does integrate well with. The payroll item mapping tool can be mapped by employees, and the great thing about it is it allows you to assign default payroll items to each employee, which takes the issue out of the employee's hands and makes it so much easier for everyone in the long run. All they have to do is just log in and enter their time and pick the job they're working on, and it makes it really easy for everyone. You can also do payroll item mapping by customer, service item, class. You can assign specific payroll items based on specific customers, service items, or class items. You can also have your employees select their own payroll items, but it's usually generally not recommended. It's easier just to have the admin set it all up and not leave it up to the employee, and that generally eliminates a lot of errors when it comes to integrating with QuickBooks. Payroll item mapping by employee allows you to assign default payroll items to each employee. So you here for this specific employee Frederick, you know, you can set up a group, you know, you can have the sick, hourly, salary, whatever, your overtime, sick time, vacation time, and that all can be set up by default within the program, just like in QuickBooks. Payroll item mapping by customer, service item, or class. That assigns specific payroll items based on specific customers, service items, or class items. The employee just picks the job they're working on, and it all takes care of it behind the scenes. You can also allow your employees to select their own payroll items using the mapping tool. You know, and there's a couple of options there for the employee. Where they can set it up, where the employee can choose, and then there aren't any additional settings required. It makes it very easy. Shamice, did you have anything to add up to this point?
I was just thinking about the initial setup as well, and it is super, super easy. I mean, it literally just takes either the Intuit Sync Manager on desktop, or if you're on QuickBooks Online, you literally just sign in and it just does its thing, and all of a sudden you're ready to go. So it's really easy to implement.
Okay, great, thanks. And here's the Crew app for the iPhone and the Android. The Android is actually built in. The iPhone does involve a setup that you have to take care of, and it's a separate app that you download. But you know, Gary, if we could just flip back to the last slide so everybody could just kind of take a look at how easy it is for the crew to just go in and check off and enter their time and clock in and clock out. Yeah, and there's the link for the iPhone app. And, you know, again with the DC, oh, sorry, Gary. We can flip to the next slide. For the DCAA and DOL compliance, when a business wins a government contract, they need to make sure that their time tracking is compliant with the Defense Contract Audit Agency as well as the Department of Labor. They just both require precise time tracking with audit trails for all changes, specific supervisor approvals, and a lot more, especially in the case of a DCAA audit. Using the timesheet's manual time entry protects the businesses with the time tracking, management, and reporting capabilities needed to comply with government regulations and guard against any audits. And here's an example of the manual time entry. And just like Bill.com, there is an audit trail that is built in that can't be changed. All you need to do with this is just be able to access a web browser. And the reporting in T-Sheets is really great. There's a lot of reports in here that just aren't available in QuickBooks. And one of them is that you can sort easier by project. There's a really nice exception report. You have your logging and auditing report where you can find, you know, check your audit trails and things like that, and also your exceptions reporting. And the pricing on this is $20 per month based on price plus a $5 additional fee for each user. There is a special 10% discount for the first year if you go in and use this link, and I believe this is a link through Nancy. Oh, I'm up now. Okay, this is another one that, I'm sorry, Shamice, was there anything I missed on T-Sheets?
No, you covered it all, and like I said, even I learned some new things. So
okay, well, thanks.
Wonderful.
Thank you. QBox was also Nancy's, and QBox basically allows you to securely share and manage your QuickBooks company file. It's completely secure. You can lock the company file. You can sync the changes and release the lock. The thing with it is another good feature, which actually has kind of been a problem with Dropbox. But let's say, for example, I'm in the file and Shamice comes in. She can actually run reports, but as long as I'm in there first, any changes that she makes won't be synced. So that is one thing that is a little different, but it is a lot safer and more reliable than Dropbox. I don't know if any of you out there, if you tried to use Dropbox for your QuickBooks files, but there's always been a lot of conflicting copies in Dropbox and data integrity issues. And it also does warn you when someone else is in. So for example, like if I'm in, you know, and Shamice goes in, it will let her know that I'm in there. And it will also let her know that since I'm in there, anything that she does can't be saved. So, you know, the real appeal for it is specifically for CPAs who work remotely and bookkeepers who work remotely that need to be able to get into their clients' file that are housed on their computers. The setup is really slick and easy. It's one of the easiest things that there is to install out there. It's as easy as Dropbox, and basically it's very similar where you you know, name the folder, excuse me, and then you know, have your email ID set in there, and you can actually even then invite your users just like you do with Dropbox. And then you just click your download link, it downloads the file, and then, you know, if you need to run it, you just run it and set it up, and it like I said, the install process is just very easy. And one of the nice things about it is it's just like another folder on your computer. You know, you look in there and it's basically set up and it installs, so it's just like it's right on your computer. And you can manage it from your browser on the web, so you can change your password, you can add your sync folders, you know, you could send your invitations. The one thing I like about it too is that you can view the invitations that you've sent out for a specific folder, you know, and it has a lot of great features in it that I happen to really like. And this kind of gives you an overview of how you can share it, the folder, and invite the users into it. Very straightforward, very easy to use. And it's all just managed from your desktop, so it just looks like it's another folder on your desktop, and you can sync it, and you know, it's set up right there for everybody to use. Now, they do have a free 1-month trial, and for businesses, you know, it's $9 a month or $90 per year, and you know, I know that that's much less costly than using the QuickBooks hosting for the QuickBooks files. So if anybody out there is interested in using that, you know, for their QuickBooks and having multiple users in QuickBooks, it's much more cost effective. You know, and they really try to market to QuickBooks Pro advisors like Shamice and myself and Nancy, but also bookkeepers and CPAs, just because it gives everyone a better option than Dropbox or any other of the programs out there at a cost-effective price.
Okay, Kim, take a deep breath and tell us a little bit about QX Express.
Okay. All right. Okay, back to my familiar territory. QExpress is a scheduling, job costing, and batch invoicing program designed for QuickBooks users in the field services industry. So basically, anybody that does recurring services, for example, like a lawn service, snow removal, pool cleaner, or anybody that does seasonal work, this is a really great tool for them to use. It allows them to schedule one-time and recurring services for the QuickBooks customer list. It can print out route lists, work orders, record start and stop times, enter what materials were used, and then post the work back to QuickBooks as an invoice. It's a powerful tool to manage your operations, but allows you to continue using QuickBooks for all accounting activities. The one thing that I personally really like about it before we move on to the next slide is that it has 150 custom fields. And I actually work with a couple of clients that utilize a lot of them. And most QuickBooks users know that when it comes to custom fields, you're very limited within QuickBooks. And this is one of the really great things about QExpress is the amount of custom fields that they have. QExpress uses QX Sync technology, and it's specifically designed to work with QuickBooks. As a matter of fact, I will tell everyone right now on this webinar, QExpress only works with QuickBooks at this point, but it is really a great program. So as a result, every feature is designed to look, feel, and operate the way you and your staff are used to in QuickBooks. They've developed a really quick sync program that has the fastest and most reliable integration possible. It also has a built-in template designer that allows you to easily customize your own route lists, work orders, and invoices. It's a very flexible and powerful tool that goes with the tools you need to drag and drop fields from QuickBooks or QExpress back and forth. You can import your logo, insert boxes, lines, sub-reports, formulas, and rich text paragraphs. The other nice feature about it is the invoicing. You know, you can schedule everything with one click and convert it into QuickBooks. And the scheduled services contain all the information necessary for invoicing, including the QuickBooks customer, the items to bill for, and the dates of service. So with one click, all the scheduled services can be converted into QuickBooks invoices with the invoicing software that they have included. This will save you and your staff hours every month in double entry. You can also schedule services to automatically show up on your schedule at the interviews you need. So you can schedule services weekly, biweekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, or at any other interval you may need. And QuickBooks QExpress is the most flexible and powerful scheduling solution available in the service industry that I've seen in a long time. They have a very flexible, powerful invoice software that recognizes the need its various users require. And there are 3 invoicing styles available. One collects all the completed services in a date range and compiles the services into one invoice per customer. Another one allows you to print the invoices before you complete the service so that you can email it in advance or drop the invoice off at the job site. And the third prompts you to create the invoices for services as soon as they are completed and marked done. Their Contact Manager is a really great CRM for people to use. You can easily track every contact you have with your customers with the customer relation management software. The Contact Manager tool keeps you informed on past and upcoming events such as emails, phone calls, and site visits. Contacts appear in the History tab and in the customer screen, so you can easily see customer contacts, service history, and QuickBooks transactions in one place. This also helps your staff when they log in to be able to provide better customer service when everything's all in one place and they can pull up the customer and show everything. You can also set reminders and enhance communication with your staff. Every event has an employee field for you to assign a contact event to. When an employee logs into QExpress, they'll be alerted of reminders that are assigned to them. But these are only available in Platinum and Enterprise versions only. Job costing. You can actually track estimated versus actual hours and posting service times to QuickBooks timesheets. So as a service company, time is your most valuable asset. Tracking how long services actually take your crews and comparing those hours to what you estimated is essential to ensure you've maximized your profits. In addition to making time tracking easy and painless, it's also the most powerful job software for QuickBooks available. You can record time on a per employee basis or with multiple employees per service and multiple entries per employee. It also helps with the subcontractors and material usage by easily tracking which materials were used on which services for which customer with which their software for jobs. Since material costs are separate from labor costs, you'll be able to determine profitability on a per line item basis. Materials are also tied to QuickBooks inventory and non-inventory parts so that inventory is automatically adjusted in your QuickBooks file. The job scheduling software allows you to assign QuickBooks vendors as QExpress subcontractors. The subcontractor's cost will affect the overall profitability of a service and will automatically create a vendor bill payable in QuickBooks. So you can see it's really great for the job costing aspect of a service. And the scheduling is something that I really like too. I mean, you can set the scheduling up pretty much however you want. It's very flexible. You can set them to automatically show up on your schedule at the intervals you need. So you can schedule them weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or whatever interval you want. But it's the most powerful and flexible scheduling solution available that I've seen. So you can easily schedule a one-time service for a specific time, date, or crew, or add the one-time service to the waiting list to be dispatched later, or schedule it within QuickBooks. Zone-based scheduling is really great too, because let's say you've got some things that are all over the map, or you want to schedule things for clients that are in a specific area at a specific time, and you need to do it farther into the future but not assign a specific date. So by this way, you know that you'll be servicing the customer, but you'll be able to do it by their geographical area if you're not tied into a certain date. And you can also view your schedules by list view, day view, and zone based or projects. So it's really convenient, and it looks like QuickBooks, and it just really makes it so easy to be able to see all these different schedules depending on what everybody's preference is. Mapping is actually an add-on module, but it's a really great tool. At this point, it's only compatible with Microsoft MapPoint 2011 or higher, but it takes all the services scheduled for a day and puts them onto a MapPoint map, and then rearranges the services in the optimal order based on the shortest distance and driving costs, and it makes it more cost efficient for getting the routes taken care of and getting the jobs done in the most cost effective manner. Now with QExpress, you do get 1 month free trial, and there are 3 different pricing tiers depending on your need. The base package is called the Gold package for $59 a month. And then they have a Platinum package. It's a really good package, and it's the in-between package. And the Enterprise is for somebody that just needs a lot. Maybe they have just a ton of customers, and it's basically unlimited on the customers. And that one runs for $99 a month.
Thanks, Kim. Ladies, do you have anything you'd like to add to the webinar today?
No.
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes today's webinar. I'd like to thank our panelists for their time, especially Kim for the extra time covering the additional material. Thank you all for joining us today. This presentation will be posted on all the panelist websites, and we will be sending out the PowerPoint presentation that you just viewed. Again, thanks for joining us, and see you in 2015. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.